Good afternoon. Thank you so very much, Colin. I really appreciate that. Want to just say a thank you to the Chamber of Commerce, Education Design Lab, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for the opportunity to be here today to talk to you about what AstrumU and the National Student Clearinghouse has been up to these past couple months and what our research has been about the past couple years. So I'm Kiv Warren. I'm a solution architect at AstrumU. We are a Bellevue, Washington-based AI and data services company, and I'll let my colleague go ahead and introduce herself.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Krupa Adia. I'm the product owner at National Student Clearinghouse, a education and research nonprofit based out of Herndon, Virginia.
Thank you, Krupa. So creating efficiency, transparency, and opportunity for learners are some of the key drivers behind our partnership with the National Student Clearinghouse. And LERs will be a very valuable asset towards achieving those objectives. The continued research and investment into the adoption and interoperability of LERs can have a significant impact and will have a significant impact for the outcome of those learners, and especially in our case, for military veterans of our nation. So why does this even matter? So I know that there's a lot of tremendous work today from government organizations, from nonprofits, and from industry organizations as well to help soldiers with their transition from serving in the military to civilian life. But we can all agree, and there is evidence that shows that there's much more work to be done. For example, there are over 200,000 soldiers that leave the military every single year, and only a fraction of those soldiers today are getting a job within their first year. However, within the next 1 to 2 years, a lot of those soldiers actually end up transitioning from their first job. Our thesis is that a well-designed LER solution can and will help veterans get better jobs faster. So let's take a minute and let's talk about what a well-designed LER solution looks like and how that would work for a real person. Consider Jonathan. He spent his entire career within the Army, and now in E7, he needs to transition out of the military service a lot earlier than what he's expected. But as he's coming to realize, just like a lot of people these past couple months, the job market is very complicated and is very unpredictable. The stress of finding a new job can definitely cause a lot of anxiety, especially in Jonathan's case, because there are a lot of companies out there, just like Initech, who have committed themselves to hiring a lot of veterans across all of their jobs, but Initech themselves, they're very unfamiliar with military documents and Army speak. But thankfully for Jonathan, AstrumU and the National Student Clearinghouse's LER solution will help him to translate his military experience into skills that are presented in a portable format that is on a level playing field with civilian experience. But before we do jump into the demo and show you the technical aspect of it, I'd like to address some of the ways that our team has been working on ensuring that we combat bias within our AI models. So starting off, depth and breadth. The more detailed and diverse the data that you train your model against, the better the results that you actually yield. At AstrumU, we've actually trained our AI model against millions of data points from over 10 years worth of Army records that are available. This has allowed our AI model to understand the context of each of those records and extract the skills and abilities within a degree of confidence without relying on simple keyword matching. Next, the secret of data science and data management is that all data is dirty. So to make sure that all of our research and all of our assumptions are correct, we have worked with former military advisors and experts in the space to help us tag and model our training data. And the schema that we end up actually creating is based on the successful outcomes of soldiers into civilian speak. So this was done so that the model does not exclude or favor specific skills over another and ensure that the results that we do produce at the very end is from a civilian's perspective. And lastly, we understand that learning happens everywhere. Just because you didn't finish every aspect of your degree or your certification path, it doesn't mean that you didn't learn something real specific from the classes that you took. So in order to not be exclusive of that progress, we've actually trained our AI model against those individual classes themselves so that you can extract the learned skills and abilities. So let's actually get into the demo. And one thing to clarify, the information that you will see throughout this video is based on someone's real, actual joint service transcript and service record brief. So this is a real document that we were able to parse, but it has been de-identified and anonymized for the privacy and protection of the soldiers themselves. So let's start it out.
Jonathan has both his joint services transcript and his service record brief. These are documents providing a summary of all of his training, service experience, and his accolades. Using a simple UI, Jonathan can upload both of these records to then be processed by AstrumU's translation engine, which then provides him with a few different output options. AstrumU's AI then extracts the raw data, which is organized, labeled, and structured into a JSON file. This data includes Jonathan's basic personal information, as well as his job, MOS details, and training and education that he's completed while in service. His other output option uses natural language processing to extract skills information from the description and adds additional skills data from both proprietary and public sources, such as the American Council on Education. As an additional feature option, the AI translation engine uses cluster and topic modeling to dynamically categorize all the skills from both his experiences and education. All of this structured data is available for Jonathan to download as a JSON file. Now that Jonathan understands his skills and has a digital breakdown of both of his verifiable records, we can transform this data in multiple ways. For the purposes of AstrumU, we can generate an Open Badge version 3 compliant credential that could be downloaded and ported into any digital repository. This is an example of generating a credential for one of Jonathan's MOS codes. This credential data can be exported as a JSON LD file. Which we can then validate to see if it meets the requirement of an Open Badge version 3 JSON LD format.
Very simple, straight to the point. Jonathan now has a digital credential for one of his occupational specialties. Let's take a look at the Clearinghouse's MyHub and see what Jonathan can do with his now self-asserted credential.
Thank you. MyHub was created by the Clearinghouse about 4 years ago, and we started with Johns Hopkins University. Since then, we've grown to serve about 150 schools and are constantly adding more. MyHub is a data aggregating platform where a student can view all their degree data from all different organizations, their credentials, their enrollment data, and from all participating organizations. Students can download their certificates, such as enrollment certificates, good student discount certificates, and download their clearinghouse transcripts from within the platform. Additionally, we have also integrated with third parties such as Paradigm, Credly, and Badger. For the purpose of this demo, we've used Badger. So we've created using real skills extracted from the joint service transcript by AstrumU. We've used Badger to create a test issuer and test badges to import into credentials into MyHub. While we used a test issuer and test badges for ExperienceU, this was done using a real joint service transcript, and real skills were extracted. So now that once Jonathan logs back into MyHub, he would see his service record briefs, his joint service transcripts translated into badges, along with his degrees and enrollment data. This paints a more holistic picture of Jonathan's learning journey and skills. It includes both his civil and military data in the same place. MyHub is also currently working on additional partnerships to allow Jonathan to share these degrees and credential data onto an employment marketplace to get hired based on his skills and data. And hopefully, Jonathan can find an appropriate job quickly and give credibility to his skills. Back to you.
Thank you so much. So you've all seen the solution. Jonathan has what he needs, and this is only the beginning. The same AI capabilities being used today for AstrumU's free-to-use tool for Army soldiers to help them understand what transitioning out of the military service looks like